United We Om is a 501c3 nonprofit sharing accessible yoga and meditation with trauma-impacted and under-resourced communities. All of our workshops and trainings are offered by donation with no minimum donation. Your donation directly supports our mission of making the benefits of practice available to everyone. Thanks to supporters like you, we've continued to provide practice virtually throughout the pandemic. Learn more and support our work at unitedweom.org. Thank you.
Hello!
2 thumbs up.
We're back. We're excited because we just did a little tester with our favorite person ever who is just about to join us. She is at school. She is in the parking lot. She is a trooper. Here she is.
All right.
Oh, Rosa. She's coming.
Magic of technology. Something about his pause.
It happened.
Yay!
Super. Yay!
How are you?
I am good. I have to tell you, this is the highlight of my day.
Oh, exactly. Those glasses are the highlight of my day.
Oh, thanks.
Those are fantastic.
These are sunglasses. Oh my God! You know me, and if it's not colorful, it's not for me. That's
Yes.
it. It's got to go.
I remember that. I remember that the first time we met you and you bought a shirt and you're like, no, I want the pink one.
Exactly. I can be boring when I'm dead.
What's that? Oh.
Yeah.
So how have you been? How's life? This is just been the craziest time ever.
Oh my God. It has been, I don't even know where to start. It has been good. You know, everyone is healthy. So I'm very happy about that. But in all my years of just being a human on this earth, I have never seen anything like this before.
Yeah.
I never have.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I'm back at school, and there's something to be said for the resilience of human beings between the ages of 12 and 14.
Yeah, it's really true.
Amazing. These kids, had it not been for them, I wanted to get back to see them. And I can't help but be grateful that I get to stand in front of them again and just enjoy their space and share the space with them. So.
All right. Well, before we do what we always do,
I know
which
we
is just rush on past.
We get excited, but
Take a minute. Yes. Tell everyone about yourself, Rosa.
Who are you?
Oh gosh, I didn't even do that.
What's that?
I said, I rushed in there as well. I am Rosa. I am a middle school teacher of going on 25 plus years. And I'm also a yoga teacher, and I am a trauma-sensitive trained yoga teacher. I own Yoga with Rosa, and the real exciting news is I put together a program during the pandemic called Just Breathe, and it's for young girls, 12 through 16. Yeah, that
Tell
are
us
dealing
about
with
that.
trauma.
Tell us about that.
You know what? I did it because of you guys and the experience that I had working with the border children. I found my niche when it comes to teaching yoga to teens. I like that group, working with the girls, and I had time on my hands, and it was very therapeutic for me to put this together because as a 51-year-old woman, I didn't know what was going on, and I regressed back to being that scared 12-year-old that I had been many years ago. I said, well, what would I need? How could I help me right now? So everything that I did to help myself is what is in Just Breathe. So
Fantastic. And that is just beautiful, let me tell you.
I want to echo how incredible you were as a teacher and a guide to those girls. This was a tall order, they were, not speaking English. You speak beautiful Spanish.
Thank you.
Some of them were pregnant. And there was a lot there, and Matt got to be there, and he just said, like, they were laughing and having fun and smiling. And I know at the end of the project, you all took a photo together because they wanted that, like they wanted that moment of, feeling closure with you. Beautiful.
Definitely. It was one of, it's like, I still, I still think about that experience and how these girls just trusted me, and we had just met, and that they showed vulnerability. And every time I start to get into my own head, regardless of what it is that I'm doing, I remember my friends that stood in front of me and showed me the not so nice parts, you know, and were willing to be who they are. And I couldn't ask for a better lesson. I cried on my last day of the program. I was in tears. You know, I drove home back to South Freeport. Oh, it's over. I can't believe it's over.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And it has such a profound effect on the teachers, but I mean, what you've done for those young women, I think will carry with them for so long. I actually remember that project very specifically.
Oh.
And Jenny and I have been at the start. One of us has been at the start of every one. And I just remember you working with these young girls, and it felt like a really beautiful, inspirational moment. And behind you, as I was taking pictures, were like the washer and the dryer, you know. And I remember coming back and being like, yes, this is it. Like, this is where we want to be doing yoga, you know, in the basement.
Absolutely.
With the washer and dryer.
Absolutely, with the washer, with the dryer, with the cold floor, with announcements going on, all of that stuff. But you know, the presence in that room at the time, you could hear a pin drop, but I don't think, you know, there have been different experiences in my life where I have felt such an abundance of love in my heart. And this was right up there. I mean, I always walked in there. I walked out feeling better than I did when I walked in. And just that feeling of love from these girls, you know? So if I could put that in a bottle and sell it, I'd be a millionaire.
Yeah.
It's true. That incredible feeling you get when you connect with somebody, you know, and just share a little moment of reality and truth. So,
absolutely.
Well, I want to go back to the program that you created.
Yes.
I want to know more. What is what is at the heart of what, you know, you feel like sharing with, you know, girls in that age range right now?
You know, I went back at the heart. The mission of Just Breathe Yoga is to get the idea that there's room for you at the table. There is space for you at the table. That through yoga, we learn how to connect body, mind, and spirit. And it's okay to be you. You are celebrated for being you. And at that age, between 12 to 16, and I look at what I see in my own professional life.
So bad. I was so bad at that age. Oh my.
Oh my, you, please.
No, I was so bad. I'm meaning just not feeling those things that you're describing.
Yeah.
Really digging in.
I had to, you know, I had to sit back and remember what it felt like to be the brown girl, to be the girl with the crazy curly hair, to be the girl who was taller than everybody else in the classroom that was always at the end of the line. Or they were like, all right, Rosa, you stand on this side, you stand on this side. I'm like, oh, I know, I'm center again, right? Ha, ha, ha. You know what I mean? So that's at the heart of Just Breathe Yoga, giving a girl freedom to be who she is unapologetically, knowing that there is room for her, that she is seen, she is heard, and she's needed, she's necessary.
Love that.
Beautiful. And what, you know, you had mentioned that when this all happened, you know, you felt like you were that 12-year-old girl again. We definitely resonate with that so much.
Big time.
What did you find? Like, what practices did you tap into that started to help kind of bring you back to this sort of like bird's eye view of things?
My mindfulness practices, connecting with my senses. I live down by the water, so I was very fortunate that I could start my days walking down by the pier. What am I seeing? What am I hearing? What am I feeling? What does it smell like? So I did that every day. I got back into my journaling. I never had time. I was always in a hurry. And even if it was just one word, how I was feeling at that moment, and then later on, I'd go back and add to it. I got back into coloring therapy. I found coloring books like it was going out of style, and what I couldn't find to color, you know, I I used to be able to draw a lot of stuff by eye when I was younger. And I put that aside as as life got in the way and I got to be an adult. In my mind, I was like, I don't have time, but I had nothing but time. So I took advantage of that. And movement. There was a lot of movement. I had a dance party with myself for 20 minutes.
Hey!
You know what I mean? I had a dance party, and every day was a dance party. And then I just do some sun salutations. That's what helped me. I mean, my husband worked. He worked right down the street. So that was his way to process. But I had a lot of time on my hands, and there's only so many closets you can straighten out. Or clothes you can fold or wash.
Come
or
to
put...
my house. Come to my house.
It's very therapeutic, Jenny. And if you have an ironing board and an iron, I'll never leave. I will never leave. You'll have a roommate. But I found that all of that is what I kept saying to myself, I'm an adult. I'm 50 years old. I can handle this. Oh my God, what they must be going to. I had 2 students. I was top heavy with girls that year that we went into the lockdown. And my heart just broke because I'm like, I wonder what's going on with so-and-so. I wonder how she's doing. I know in my class, we used to do a lot of breath work before we started the resource room period. I wonder if they're returning back to that breath. And then I said, well, Rosa, you need to return back to your breath. You need to move your body. You need to sit still. As a teacher, we're always directing and guiding. We're like the patient, the doctor is the worst patient. The teacher sometimes can be the worst student.
Yeah, for sure.
What an amazing realization, though. And I feel like we were talking with Lanny about this, who used to be a teacher and then has sort of been teaching kids yoga for a couple decades. And she shared the exact same thing that you just did when we were asking, like, what is the most important first step in integrating breathing and mindfulness and yoga into schools? And she said sharing it with the teachers, like letting this be something they can access and have time for and can experience themselves, because it all starts with them and how they're doing. And I love that you just said that exact same thing. We have to take care of our teachers. And
Absolutely.
And Rosa, would you say like that most teachers like that would feel that yoga was like a safe space for them to just go and check it out? Or would you say that a lot of teachers that have social boundaries or things like that around the practice of yoga that kind of keep them apart from it?
It's you know what? It's like 50-50. At this point, it's 50-50. And I think those of us that have had our own battles with anxiety, with space issues, with vulnerability, the pandemic has just kicked it up a notch. So whereas before, when I'm seeing, we may have been a little bit more open, now we've become very guarded in our space. And as teachers, from what I see and from my experience, we try to be social, but there's also that part of it's a possibility that I can still get sick. It's a possibility that this can all go away. So there's still that wall that's up, not putting ourselves out there. I mean, I have had the experience where I've worked with teachers, that are friends of mine, and we have done yoga virtually. We've done meditation virtually, mindfulness practices, but we're still in that box. And it's sad, because if you don't feel it in yourself, that energy is going to come across to who's standing in front of you. And they're young. They don't have the self-regulation that we have, So I'm hoping, okay, now there goes the garbage truck. Nope, that's the truck. Yeah.
That's all right. It's just life passing through.
It's all good. It's life.
There you go. It's town of Hempstead trucks are behind me. That's where all the salt comes from.
Oh, that's very important. The salt.
Very important. But, it's a stressful time for teachers. It's a very stressful time for teachers. There's a lot that we still don't know. It's a stressful time for administrators. There's a lot that they still don't know. And we're all thrown in the same pile together. So, I'm hoping that there can be some outreach for us all, or in schools, to work with the staff and do some type of just breathe and let go. You know what I mean? some type of staff development just to get yourselves grounded, you know?
So for maybe some teachers who will watch this, or other people who are just trying to bring it into their work environment with other children, what are some things that you're doing now that you're back? Just sort of like on maybe on the daily or just a part of the week? What are some things that you're doing to bring in that mindfulness and
I'm so glad you asked that question, Matt. I really am. I have this thing where I teach resource room. I'm like, is anyone? No, it's in the parking lot. No one's here. I teach resource room, and I also teach extra sessions of classes. So we start every day with a daily check-in. How are you feeling? What happened the period before? How did you sleep last night? We start with the daily check-in. From the daily check-in, because again, I work with middle school. They have to buy in. If they don't buy in, it's the eye rolling, it's the sucking of the it's all of those behaviors, which I don't take personally, and you shouldn't. So we do the check-in. I have this thing called a jar of smiles, and it has little pieces of paper on it that has different scenarios. It can be a quote, it can be a question, and I hand that out to the groups, or I'll, put it on the little top shield, and with the shields up and the masks on, they talk about it. So I've been doing a lot of tabletop talks, a lot of daily check-ins. We're somewhat starting, I call it breathe to relax, because I don't call it meditation or anything like that. We just do breathe to relax. Okay, so let's try triangle breath. So there's the breath work. So I start my classes every day with those three things. And, we kind of change it up. There are other days where they may want to journal. Go right ahead, have at it, take out your device, journal. And then there are other days where they just want to sit still and just find out about me. And I create that space for them where they can ask questions. We have a dialogue. We have a conversation. So those things I've seen has been working with my population, with my kids. It's hard. I'm a hugger. I love with a big heart. There's no contact. So it's a lot of smiling. It's a lot of showing up for them. I stand at the door in the morning and I let them know that they're welcome in that space and that they're safe in that space. And I'm going to keep them safe for those 42 minutes that I have them. So I hope I answered your question.
Beautiful.
It does very much. So much about connection,
Yes, hearing you describe that, I feel in my heart as I'm listening that before the math times tables or any of that, we know that unless we feel safe and secure and we're regulated, that our executive function is shut off anyway. And I think it's so brilliant how you've just created these so simple, everyday rituals that let them get to a place that they can then be successful at what they're trying to learn too. It's amazing.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I let them know. I said, I want you to be here. And it's not about, because I know that they've had it tough. A lot of them were home by themselves. We're taking care of young parents, we're taking care of siblings. We're translating for parents, suffered loss. All of this wrapped up into a 12-year-old body. And it's tough, and I tell them, I don't mind you sitting here and talking. You haven't had anyone to talk to in the past year and a half. I don't mind you sitting here and walking around. Just make sure that you keep that distance because you haven't been around anybody. Some of them think, oh, this is like my living room. Like, no, we're all in this space together. Let's figure out a way to make this work. We can do this. Yeah. I really feel for them.
And again, like just the direction at which you're coming at this. I've heard a lot of feedback from a lot of parents whose children have had a very hard time returning to school, that there was a desire to just like turn the page and just be like picking up on page 24, and that was an experience for their children that was so shocking. And to hear how you are like, nope, we are humans and we need certain things to be okay, and we haven't had those things, and resource room is a place for those human resources too. That is, never heard anybody express it like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I have severe asthma, and ended up in the emergency room last October with a severe asthma attack. Lucky to be, grateful to be here, but I couldn't come back to the building. I was high risk, and I don't want to say that I ever got used to staying home. I didn't. You know, this is what I do. I'm a teacher. I'm used to having people in my space. So it was tough for me. And every time, you know, I look at them and they're, oh, well, you know, we have to get back to doing this. We have to get back to doing that. Take a minute, slow down. We have to get adjusted and figure out a new way to do what we've always done, because it's not that way anymore. And that's okay. We're going to get through it. We're going to figure it out.
Rosa, I feel like that's for everybody. That's for all of us.
Everybody ever.
So stay down. It's not the way it used to be. It's different, and it's okay, and we're gonna get through it.
Absolutely, we're gonna find. You know what? We're gonna find. You know, another thing I said to them, it's when something doesn't work, when something doesn't make you feel good inside. You know, like that nice butterfly in your belly feeling. You owe it to yourself not to do it. If it's within your control, you don't do it. I said, so let's focus on what makes us feel good. Okay, so not doing the homework may feel good, but then when we get in trouble the next day, that doesn't feel so good. So let's figure out a way that we can make that happen. You know, it's all about, I'm trying to teach them what works for you. Do what works best for you. Like, and they look at me sometimes and they're just, Matt and Jenny, they're just like, wait a minute. No. What's this crazy woman talking about now? What does work for me? I don't know what works for me. I said, well, great. We're going to find out. We've got nothing but time.
Wow, I love it. I love it. Oh, Rosa, we only have one more minute.
Yeah, I was going to say, so much of the good deep yoga going on. Go ahead.
Oh, my gosh.
No,
I know you have. You're very tight schedule.
So,
we're grateful.
We're grateful for the time you gave
Thank
all
you.
of us in the middle of your school day. And I just want to make sure, we're going to bring Rosa back again. Don't worry. It's going to come out. But I just want to make sure everybody knows how to find you, because you're always sharing amazing stuff, and the Just Breathe program is beautiful. So let everybody know how they can find you, or if that Just Breathe program sounds beautiful for them, how can they connect about it?
Wonderful. You can connect with me on @YogaWithRosa. I'm saying it the right way, right?
And we tag you on all of our stuff, so you can just click straight through to Rosa.
Yes.
Here.
Thank you. And the other thing, you just go to my website. It's www.yogawithrosa.org, and it's under my community-based yoga, Just Breathe. So.
Beautiful, Rosa.
This was such a wonderful time. Thank you so much, Rosa.
Great. Thank you. No,
it's so good to see you again.
Same here. I hope all is well with the kids, and I love the chickens, and they're playing the drums, and she's Faye's on the piano. I'm like, this is what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Oh, we're trying. We're trying to do all of our things
this
to
is
make
amazing.
our bucket of smiles through all this, right?
Thank you. I'm heading back in. My lunch is over, but this was food for the soul, so thank you.
Oh, thank you, Rosa.
Very much, Rosa. Great to see you.
Love you both. Bye. Take care.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Oh.